This is my band's final show. It's May 1993. I'm 22 years old and I've just graduated from college. I live in New York City and the lease on my apartment is about to expire. I need a job. I apply for an opening at Columbia House, the oldest and largest mail-order CD and tape club in America. I'm fully prepared to explain how mowing lawns and managing a record store in high school are perfect qualifications for an entry-level position in the marketing department. But instead of talking about my inexperience, the main topic of the interview is the alternative rock band Nirvana. Their major label debut, Nevermind, has sold 4 million copies since its release in the fall of 1991 and is still at the top of the Billboard music charts. As a longtime fan of the band, I have no problem explaining their breakthrough success to my 40-something interviewer. To my total surprise, I was not only taken seriously, I was offered the job. As a graduation gift, my parents give me a Sony Hi8 video camera. I decide to bring it to work with me every day. New employee orientation is at 8:45 a.m. on Monday morning. I'm so nervous, I almost forget which building the company is in. Before I'm officially employed, I have to fill out a stack of paperwork that anticipates every possible life experience I might have. In orientation, I learned that Columbia House is co-owned by Sony and Time Warner, two of the 6 multinational corporations that dominate the music industry. Sony is also the world's largest consumer electronics firm, manufacturing CD players and video cameras. Combined revenue of the two parent companies is close to $70 billion. The personnel director explains that the benefit of corporate monopolies like these is that as a Columbia House employee, I'll have access to both the Sony and Time Warner cafeterias. Everyone seems to be out to lunch when orientation finally ends. A receptionist hands me a key, and I'm shocked to discover that I'll have my own office. My new title is Assistant Product Manager, Music Marketing. I make a rubbing of my nameplate, just to prove to my parents that I actually got the job. In the afternoon, I'm invited to a new employee welcome party, hosted by upper management.
I just wanted to welcome you all to Columbia House. Congratulations on your excellent judgment on selecting an excellent company.
The video camera doesn't seem to bother anyone, so I just keep taping. I begin and end each workday by taking a shot of the building directly across the street. This acts as a reminder to tape at least something every single day. There's a grace period where everyone understands that I don't know what I'm doing, so there isn't much work.
What you take? You finished?
I'm finished.
What you taping? I mean, what? Work? The definition of work?
The camera provides a good excuse to walk around and meet people.
I don't have files, I have piles. So each pile is really a big topic.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's very good for meetings.
Right.
You have very short meetings. No one can stay in here very long.
They don't want to be in here, right?
They get claustrophobic.
Wandering around these hallways, I feel this weird institutional deja vu. Then I realize that the corporate workplace reminds me a lot of high school.
This is a fire drill. Fire drills are required to be held periodically by the New York City fire law, and we request your participation in order for you to learn your means of egress in case of an actual emergency.
Each day, I'm invited to lunch by a different group of people. Today, I'm off to the Time Warner cafeteria with the Planning and Analysis Department.
Tell you what a really grouchy worker is all about.
This daily lunch ritual is a fast way to get to know a lot of people in the company.
I cannot do my mother. My father is a tie fanatic. Okay? So he has all these ties, many, many, many nice ties. Since he's been collecting ties, not collecting, but has been buying them for what, 30 some odd years, 40 years?
Right,
He has quite a collection, and he's semi-retired, so his ties are sitting there. So he said to my mother, give them to the Salvation Army. And she came up with an idea because she quilts, and my mother is very creative, believe it or not. She decided to make a quilt out of all these ties. End of story.
This is Paula, the very pregnant product manager I've been hired to assist. This is our boss, Rick, the director of marketing. Rick hired me for this job.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll shift accordingly. Okay. Make sure it's not going to fall out.
Yeah.
For my benefit, he explains the recent history of record clubs.
You've probably seen the ads. Record clubs promote incredible introductory deals on CDs and tapes.
With the introduction of the compact disc in the 1980s, consumers used Columbia House as a fast way to replace all of their old vinyl LPs with CDs.
Kurt Howard has a lot of CDs, hundreds of them.
They bought everything they already owned again for double, even triple the original price. Columbia House experienced unprecedented growth. But the CD market has matured, and club sales have started to plateau.
I used to be with 3 different record clubs, and I am down to 1 now where I think I get the best deal.
Many times. You also don't want to settle.
Rick thinks that this new alternative music niche is one way to revive a stagnant CD market. He seems convinced that I can help the club with this marketing challenge. But before any plans can be made, he's sending me to Terre Haute, Indiana. As part of the orientation process, I'm visiting the main factory and attending a management training seminar. If the New York office is the brain of the company, generating all of the mental and creative labor, the body is here, 800 miles away in Terre Haute. This is where all of the unseen physical labor happens. On my factory tour, I learned that Columbia House manufactures their own CDs. This keeps costs low and profit margins high on full-price titles.
No.
Everyone refuses to talk on camera. They tell me that they're scared of looking foolish to management back in New York.
Can I help you?
I'm interested in something I found in a flyer.
These women are monitoring the customer service phone operators.
Order 1?
Yes.
All right, anything else?
No, that's all.
In Terre Haute, I also learned that for the consumer, joining a record club is actually a good deal. With all of the free and discounted titles, members end up paying an average of $8 per CD over the course of a membership. It's the artists who pay the real price. Columbia House pays artists reduced royalties and publishing rates. The club argues that these concessions are justified because Columbia House ads act as additional promotion for the artists, above and beyond the primary advertising done by a band's record label. In other words, the artists are charged directly for the club's cost of doing business. This is another reason Columbia House can afford to give away so many free CDs in the initial offer. But there are no extra costs for the record labels, which also benefit from club advertising. And the parent companies, Sony and Time Warner, profit from both retail and club sales. My tour guide explains that these are local college students, hired to pack the boxes of free CDs. She tells me that on an average day, they walk between 14 and 20 miles around this grid. After a brief lunch break, I attend the management training seminar.
So it's what you do in terms of customer service that creates loyalty with the customers. Supervisors support the frontline people. You know, their job is not to be in control and have power, but it's to coach and help and guide and develop those frontline people. Middle managers create customer-friendly policies and procedures. And I challenge you, begin to look at those policies and procedures and ask yourself, are they for the benefit of us or are they for the benefit of our customers? Do they make it easier for the customer? And finally, top management creates the organizational structure and the resources to support these efforts. So senior management becomes probably the key to whether this whole cultural change is going to happen. Do you get out there and talk to customers? How many of you talked to an external customer in the last 3 weeks? Okay, great. But what about the rest of you? Okay?
Back in New York, everything, even the words on my coffee cup, seem like a secret motivational message. I tell Rick all about my trip to Terre Haute when I return. We start meeting every couple of days so he can explain how the company is structured and how our department works. The marketing department is responsible for the sales promotion materials. Basically, we make music catalogs. Actually, we don't make anything, we oversee a process. Columbia House sells music to over 8 million members each month through these catalogs. First, we write a detailed marketing plan. It functions as a blueprint for each of the 18 magazines, which cater to different tastes. This plan is the only physical evidence of the marketing process. Next, Rick and I discuss how things will appear on each page.
Negotiating is over. We've decided that we're going to now combine Alice in Chains with Beavis and Butthead at one special low price, right? Right. Which actually is not bad. You're going to get them both for $19.98, which essentially means you're going to get Alice in Chains for $4 instead of the $12.98 that you would have gotten here. But how are we going to put this together?
You mean visually and stuff, right?
Well, visually and copy-wise. I mean, what is the message that holds these two together? There isn't one, is there?
Then, Paula and I present this marketing plan to the Creative Services Department downstairs on 17. Creative Services is home to the in-house staff of graphic designers, music copywriters, and production personnel. These people actually make stuff. They produce all of the writing and design for the music magazines.
Okay.
In the weeks that follow, Creative Services present their preliminary designs to us for review.
Is there only 2 albums?
There are
3 albums.
Chicks with picks.
Isn't it? Am I like going screwy? Is it the Lemonheads?
The Lemonheads.
Okay. The Lemonheads.
There are additional meetings and phone calls to discuss any revisions.
These two headlines don't work. This, hey Beavis, you can get our album and Alice in Chains this month at one low price, cool. That doesn't work, but like the strategy I think is good, you know?
No, it's not.
No?
No, it's wrong. This month only, both albums, you know.
Right. Two great albums at one low price.
No, this month only, both get them both at a low price.
Okay.
Okay. But now I think what it's going to require is to chop up the copy that was already written for Beavis and Butthead.
We won't treat them as two separate things on two separate standalone pages. We'll treat it as a single author, but with these two, you know, admittedly unconnected things. But nevertheless, here they are at one low price, right?
But there's more than just a stairwell that separates the two floors. The relationship between marketing and creative services is defined by power.
The official policy is that marketing is the client and we are the agency, and we have a client-agency relationship. That's the official company line.
And you think that's not true, or you think?
I'm not sure it works well within the structure of a single corporation because, of course, clients and agencies are normally two different companies.
All of the work done by the 50-person creative staff on 17 must be sent upstairs to be reviewed and approved by our 3-person marketing staff on 19. This makes for a volatile relationship between the two departments.
Convincing people from marketing that our opinions are valid, I've given up. I gave up long ago.
Within the company, what floor you work on is like a shorthand for your identity.
So I think the 19th floor is the executive floor, even though there are some executives on 17.
Mm-hmm.
But the chairman, CEO, and CFO are on the 19th floor.
I'm down on the 17th floor. I feel like I have a brain. I feel like sometimes I do stuff, but I'm kind of a service. I'm not really supposed to be a thinking person. I kind of feel like I'm sort of like an idiot savant with a magic marker, to be honest.
I also find that some people on the 17th floor, for instance, I'm talking more about like from the creative side, right, feel like the fact that they're working with the creative side, they can't identify with the people in the suits. Right. You know, just because you're wearing a suit doesn't mean you're not going to have some of the same interests.
Oh, like a bunch of stiffs up there. Oh, wait, you're on I forgot. I thought you were on 18. All right.
The amounts of money that's put into the elegance of the suites and the almost fortress-like stone that inhibits the trespass, the clicking of high heels against the marble, the French smoked glass that delineates us from them. We don't know whether we're in the cage looking out or they're in the cage and we're looking in. Who knows?
But I just love, I mean, I don't think I want to be anyplace else if I'm going to be at Columbia House than the 19th floor.
I've really never been down to the 17th floor. I don't know what they do there, but I do know they wear ripped jeans, and I envy them for that. You can't afford to gamble.
Because we are not stimulating a real market.
The newly instated Casual Friday on 19 promises to erase the dress code distinctions between the two floors at least one day a week.
Like one of those penny stocks. It's like 75 cents now, and it goes up. You can like try to get that a cent, and I win.
As I get settled here, my role within the department becomes much more clear. It's my job to act as a liaison between marketing and creative services. I have to make sure that the two departments are always communicating.
Over 1,000 overpriced albums.
Many people on 17 see working at Columbia House as a way to support themselves while they pursue careers as musicians, artists, and writers. A lot of the executives on 19 are more invested in Columbia House as a career.
Inside, over 1,000 albums.
In many ways, I'm stuck between the two floors. I have more in common with the people on 17 who consider working here a day job.
Beavis has a capital B, and Butthead has a capital B, but he's head capitalized.
I don't feel any personal investment in this business. The paycheck is a way to keep living in New York until I figure out what I really want to do. But marketing determines the direction of the business. My opinion counts simply because of the department I work for.
All right, now what's our choices thus far?
White Hot, Bang, Platinum Rocks, maybe with an X. Carl came up with that. Since all the lingo seems to be dated, I don't know, mosh, you know, Monster Mosh, which is a pun that no one will get anyway. I like Platinum Rocks because it just has a certain, you know. We did Making Major Noise, you know, not so long ago. You know,
You know, maybe it's the Macon that just. I didn't.
All right. Major Noise. Well, I mean, if that's fine with you, it's fine with me.
I also get a salary and health benefits, while many writers and designers on 17 work freelance.
You said working for an ad agency or something.
And then there's the CDs. Marketing employees are among the select few who get complimentary copies of every single release that the club carries. I get more music than I can even listen to. Our department gets so many free CDs that we hold periodic sales in the lobby, and the money is donated to charity. My dad is meeting me for lunch today. No one in my family was sure what I was going to do with a philosophy degree after I graduated. Now my dad seems more excited about this job than I am.
Head, arm. It doesn't look sort of funny, like those are fingers, but they're not. I think that's an ear.
Is that good?
This is the head. The hand is right there, scratching its head.
It's a boy. Yeah.
I got a picture.
Oh my God. She doesn't look that way anymore.
Attendance is mandatory at the annual employee summer picnic. I'm a little freaked out that alcohol is being served to my nearly naked coworkers at 10 a.m., but I'm more shaken up by a meeting I had yesterday with Rick. He told me that Paula is dissatisfied with the company's maternity leave plan and has decided to quit. He had no idea how long it would take to find a replacement, but in the interim, I'd have to handle the extra workload. Rick jokingly warned me that my job was about to take over my life. It starts to rain so hard that the picnic activities move inside.
982-140, you can come and claim your umbrella slippers off Tanisha's feet. 982-266. Tanisha! Chris Wilshire is our lucky winner.
Winning a Grateful Dead vest isn't much comfort. So far, I've been able to remain an anonymous entry-level assistant. I get all the benefits of being on 19 without the accountability. This new responsibility threatens that. If I plan to survive here without Paula, I have to learn to speak the same language as everyone else in the company.
So wait. You buy one regular club price purchase. Then you get your bonus if you're adequate, and then you're allowed to take your red tag sale albums.
As many of the red
As many
tags.
of the red tag. And then after you make a red tagger, you again have to buy another regular club price purchase to get a bonus to get another red tag.
No. You have to buy a regular club price purchase to get
Another red tag?
No, to get bonus, another bonus. But the first regular club price lets you take as many of the red tag albums as you want.
So inspirational people in Command and Commit got this offer in the 9402. Okay. They don't get a red tag.
But that's after one regular club price purchase? Or does the 2 CDs count for one regular
2
club
CDs
price
count as one regular club price purchase.
Since this is not compatible, in-commit, out-commit, when it's not compatible, they get the CRTC in-commit offer for in-commits and out-commits.
And the 2 CDs count as one regular club price purchase, but what about if you're in the compact price plan? Then you get a bonus?
After only a couple of weeks, I'm totally overwhelmed. There's way too much work for just one person, and I feel like I'm in meetings all day long.
Way to at one magazine we had where the headers, they weren't supposed to be a color, and they appeared in the color in the rock section, and we couldn't figure out how it happened, and somehow through the coding from the database to the studio, it put a red headline on it. It wasn't supposed to be. It put a red headline on it.
I'm even expected to stay after hours for focus group research. During focus group tests, Columbia House employees sit behind a one-way mirror and watch how consumers respond to company mailing packages.
What stimulates you to want to buy? We heard already maybe a selection of the month. That's one thing. What else?
Just do your plan, do your 6, and get out again.
What I'm trying to understand is, do you plan to buy something that month, or do you get the mailing and if there's something in the mailing that makes you want to buy or not buy?
No, but sometimes if I heard something that I like, I'll look for it.
But more than just my workload is different. My status on 19 is also changing. This is the executive dining room. I've been invited to lunch by Pam Lehman, the Vice President of Marketing, to discuss alternative music and the future of heavy metal.
Doesn't make sense. Right. It doesn't allow you to promote all your best titles.
Which is true. But there's this movement, right. To alternative from heavy metal.
Or at least the lines are getting blurred between.
The lines getting blurred. There's this feeling. Hi, what is this? Not working or something?
Which?
Oh, the door. So, like, the subject just came up as to whether we should get rid of, like, heavy metal.
The term metal. Like the term heavy metal.
As a listening preference, because there is no more heavy metal. And I'm like, I don't think that's what everybody's saying.
No, that's not what we're saying.
You know, and then actually even a suggestion to put a more alternative, what was the type under the heavy metal?
Hard alternative.
Yes. Yeah, because now everything is just hard rock as opposed to hard alternative as opposed to. But heavy metal still exists. It's
Metal still exists. There are still metal bands.
The memo that results from this meeting proves that even during lunch, important decisions are being made. As consumer demand for alternative music increases, Columbia House is feeling the pressure to properly address this new niche market. Memos circulating within the company expressed a certain anxiety about just how to do that. I never thought my obsessive record collecting could ever translate into some kind of professional expertise, but suddenly I'm becoming the resident alternative consultant.
What? Wait.
That shirt will be like $38.95.
The club sells more than just music in the monthly mailings, and I'm even asked to help make merchandise decisions.
Trying to get a special price for us.
Wow.
Bad Religion,
It's cool.
alternative.
Yeah, they are alternative, actually.
So do we have them?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We have
so
both our albums,
That would be,
Yeah, in the good pile. What about the metal stuff? Are we separating or no?
yeah, I have metal stuff too. So for rock, yeah, Bad Brains.
That's a good looking
Do
shirt.
we have this?
Yeah, we do.
So we can do this?
Yeah.
This
Very-
would be more like rap?
No, this is they're a real rock band. There.
But as I'm being subsumed by the 19th floor, my relationships with people on 17 are also changing.
Well, it's up to Chris. Chris is the boss. Chris is the arbiter of.
May I call you Ooh for
of marketing policy.
I'm in a position of power, but lack the experience to make that mean anything. I don't think I've changed, but how people on 17 perceive me has. This happened most recently with Carl, a writer on 17. When I first started working here, we spent a lot of time hanging out together.
I never had been involved in a major corporation before this one. I am just staggered at the abuses of power and the ridiculous things that people seem to think are good policy. What's wrong with these people?
But now that Paula has left, this tension has been building between us.
I'm going to overcome my reticence at leaving my hovel, and I will go up here and throw myself on the mercy of the new tyrant of the 19th floor.
Meaning me?
Yes.
It finally came to a head yesterday in a meeting when I criticized his writing.
In a classical magazine is what I'm looking at. The previous page.
I mean, like, I was sitting there with a massive tension headache, and it just seemed to explode from me to call you a little boy. And you immediately, you hit that. You hit that right like that. And I know that I struck a nerve. And it was wrong. It really was. It was a stupid thing. And I as much admitted it, but, you know, yeah, the difference is, maybe you should have laughed it off and said, boy, is he having a bitchy day. He must be really on the rag. And let it go. But you instead evoked your power, elite, and ordered me out of the meeting, which was an embarrassment.
After talking for a while longer, Carl admits what's really going on.
I don't know. Is that an age issue? Yes. It is always an age issue. I admit it. It is always an age issue.
I'm staying at the office later and later. I don't think Rick really knows how much work I'm doing because he keeps volunteering me for other projects. After Nirvana's highly anticipated album, In Utero, is released, the company decides that a big Nirvana feature will appear in the next club catalog. When the head writer on 17 unexpectedly quits, Rick tells Creative Services that I can write the copy.
I mean, help me out here. This is a Generation X band. You can speak for them.
When I sit down to write the feature, I'm confronted with how my identity as a punk rock fan and my job as a Columbia House employee have finally collided. From interviews I've been reading, Nirvana seem as conflicted about their mainstream success as I'm starting to feel about this job. I try to work this into the copy in some way. The world's been waiting to see what happens when teen spirit is reborn as adult rage, is my slightly overwrought opening line. The rest of the writing describes the songs, but in the final sentence I ask, are you still alternative when your last album sells over 4 million copies? In Utero answers that question with a resounding punk rock yes. I realize after this copy has been sent off to the printer that there's no such thing as a punk rock yes. Punk rock has always been about saying no to exactly the kinds of commercial systems that exploit bands like corporate record clubs. When I finally see a printed copy of this layout, the words punk rock have mysteriously disappeared. I feel trapped between my accountability to the 19th floor, the resentment I'm feeling from the 17th floor, and my own punk rock guilt. People are starting to notice how stressed out I am.
I don't understand.
You really don't.
You in this camera. I don't know, when I first met you, the very first week I met you, you seemed to be a very relaxed, easygoing, sweet kind of person. And then you seemed to turn into this nervous, nail-biting. You were different. You became short, not as friendly, preoccupied.
You know, it's just an unfortunate time where Paula left. No one expected it.
Exactly.
And so it's just, you know, doing two people's job. It's just a lot more work.
Right, it is.
And I hope that They're hiring someone, apparently.
Okay.
And maybe that will alleviate a lot of the
And
tension.
you'll turn back to the real Chris?
Exactly.
Well, we'll wait and we'll see. Finish, it's over.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, looking out.
Any conflicted feelings I'm having about this job are put into sharp perspective a couple of days later when a woman who worked in the office across from me is unexpectedly fired. I'm reminded that I'm lucky to have this job.
So this is my big dilemma.
This is a shot of Florence from a few weeks ago, before she was fired.
This is a coffee table.
I usually stop by her office at least once a day to talk.
I mean, either I could put the sofa there, and I could put the entertainment unit there, coffee table there, the club chair there. Problem is, I have to be able to see the entertainment unit from both the bed and the sofa. That's where the problem arises.
By the afternoon today, all of her things have disappeared, and it's as if she never worked here. Paul is here today to clean out her office. She brings her baby Ian with her.
We freaked him out.
She asks me if I've been promoted yet, and I tell her no. I make a dumb joke about how I don't aspire to climb the corporate ladder. But the truth is, I've been thinking a lot about my own ambition since she quit. I want a promotion or at least a raise for doing all of this extra work. But isn't saying so admitting that I really do care?
Hi, this is Chris Wiltshire at Columbia House. Please leave me a message. Thanks.
Doing two jobs is taking its toll. Finally, Rick comes into my office one day with what he describes as good and bad news.
It was. It is now, yeah.
The good news is that I've been promoted to product manager. This means a raise, an expense account, business cards, and my own stationery. He's also hired someone as a second product manager. She starts Monday. The bad news is that, due to a lack of space, I'll have to share an office with this new employee. This means the end of any solitude during the workday. Marie started work today.
Get used to it.
I know,
Just get
right.
used to it.
It's my initiation.
She's going to be replacing Paul. So,
Great, good. Good luck.
Thank you.
so today was your first day?
Today was my first day. Very exciting. I ordered some office supplies.
She seems nice, but I'm not looking forward to sharing an office with her.
I think it was a 10-page insert.
I myself went to a sports medicine doctor. Those are the only ones that seem to know about this at this point in time. There's a compression of the muscles, a compression of the nerve endings in the arm. Here, 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 and here.
Where I'm at a left-handed desk, and so to sit with my work in front of me and then turn this way constantly to type. Because I work in 6.5 type, so I constantly have to look this way and type this way.
When I sit here all day, like if I have contacts on, your eyes start to burn in a way that it's almost like as if you came into contact with some solvent like acetone or something like that. Because even after you take out your contacts and soak your eyes in like egg cups full of saline solution, you still be burning, like seeing ghost images long after the lights go out at night.
Your head is like racing, but then you feel like this pain from just staring at this thing.
And so you were officially diagnosed?
Yes, by Seaport Orthopedics.
And sometimes if I get up too fast, I like feel like I'm gonna faint because I'm concentrating so much, and then like somebody says I gotta, they call, you know, and I run out, and I'm like, whoa.
So I should correct my posture, put myself into the box position, get some armrests for my chair. Hence the humorous bubble wrap that almost everyone around here seems to find so amusing. Let them be amused.
After a few weeks, Marie seems to be getting settled. We split all of the work equally, and it's a relief to have an ally in meetings.
We have book copy and the house band is reggae praise.
So now you're
dissing, saying that Chris said something about you. You're nuts.
You said that Chris Wilcha said I was bitchy. I did not make that up.
Oh, yeah, I did, and it wasn't Chris Wilcha. And listen, Marie, this really irritates the hell out of me, because I do remember the conversation now.
Brian, you
and I in no
said
way
it.
ever intimated that it was Chris Wilcha.
You totally did, and I didn't know if you...
I know who it was, and it wasn't Chris. And I never told you who it was, and I don't plan on telling you who it was, and I'm glad I didn't tell you who it was now.
Are you going to let
But
me
in lieu of my telling you, that for you to intimate to him that I said it was him, I don't get it. I really don't get it, Mr. Capozzi.
Well, I'm not talking anymore because you won't let me talk.
Despite attempts by people on 17 to pit us against one another, we get along well. One day, when a senior executive's paycheck accidentally ends up in my inbox, I convince Marie to help me steam it open.
What do we do, the steam? No, I don't know if it'll work. There's not enough steam. It's work.
As one of the perks of being full-fledged product managers, Marie and I are sent to a music industry convention in San Diego. Standing in line at the David Hasselhoff photo booth, I feel this intense wave of anxiety. When I was younger, my father would return home from conventions with a collection of Polaroids. In the pictures, he'd be posed with some corporate mascot, Miss America, or B-list celebrity. He always had a sense of humor about the photos, but he sincerely enjoyed his job as a marketing product manager in the food industry. Now, here I am, 20 years later, insincerely enjoying my job as a marketing product manager. I fell into this job by accident, not by design. What my father went to business school to study, I trained for simply by being a committed consumer. For the past 6 months, taping has been a way to convince myself that where I work isn't who I am. But for all of the distance that taping has provided, I'm standing here, waiting in line to have my picture taken with David Hasselhoff. A significant project awaits us when we return from San Diego. Rick tells us that it's time to focus our energy on a new alternative music magazine. Pressure has been mounting to redesign the existing alternative club. Outside ad agencies are being considered, but Rick has insisted to upper management that Marie and I can handle the job. We approach this project with considerable cynicism.
Exactly.
Don's like, oh my God, people get married there.
The club always lags significantly behind what's going on in the music business. As we find out, the reasons for this are complicated. The 18th floor is home to the A&R department. A&R stands for Artists and Repertoire, a music industry term dating back to when record labels picked which songs artists would record. A&R departments at record labels sign bands. The A&R department here has a different function. They decide what new releases Columbia House will manufacture for club use. I had always assumed that the club didn't promote new music because of the delays that result from operating a business through the mail. The lead time needed to create the music catalogs, combined with an infrequent mailing schedule, means that it can take months before new releases appear in club magazines. It turns out that there's also a legal explanation. Sue Passavant, the director of A&R, explains.
To ensure that we are not competing head-to-head with retailers, record clubs do not have access to new music the minute it hits the street. Otherwise, we would be going head-to-head with them. We have to wait a period of a minimum of 3 months, and often these days it's longer. It's 4 months, 6 months, sometimes even a year at times. We face holdbacks like that. So from a product perspective, that puts us at a disadvantage.
And there's another important reason why Columbia House doesn't aggressively promote new music. The business is built around the selection of the month. Marshall Wilcoxon, the vice president of A&R, explains its significance.
SOM is, well, the SOM is the selection of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the album that's picked for for the category that you've chosen when you join the club, you've chosen as the category of the niche of music that you like the best, and whether it's hard rock or country or jazz or light sounds or alternative or rap, Latin, Christian, you say on the application you check that box, say please send me music of this type, and what that enables us to do is to pick one album. In this case, Aerosmith was used for hard rock as well as metal. We can pick one album that is going to fit as close as we know, fit your musical taste, and this drives our mailing, if you will. This is the engine. This is the negative option, selection of the month. It means you're going to get a selection card which tells you that unless you return that card by a certain cutoff date, this album is going to be sent to you automatically.
So if you don't send the card back refusing the selection of the month, it's sent to you automatically. That's what Marshall means by negative option. According to the invented logic of this business, not returning the card means you want the album sent to you.
I doubt if a group like Aerosmith knows about what they get out of the club or anything like that. Their managers and attorneys sure do, though. Right.
The SOM is the financial centerpiece of each mailing. More than half of the revenues every month are generated by these sales. Established artists are always picked as the SOM to guarantee the highest possible profits.
I was wondering if you could, I work at the Columbia House Record and Tape Club. I was wondering if you could tell me what you think of the record club, because we sell tons of your records.
Such a deal. What do you think of the record club?
Well, I think it's a good deal. You know, 8 CDs for a penny. You can't really beat that. We sell boatloads of your records, too. Yeah, I was wondering what you guys thought of the record club. Columbia House? Yeah, 8 CDs.
I just hit somebody in the knee with it the other day.
Hey man, I was wondering what you thought of the record club. Columbia House?
I don't know anything about it. Good luck, man.
Hey, I was wondering what you thought of the record club, Columbia House. 8 CDs for a penny, you know?
What is it?
8 CDs for a penny, you know, the club.
That's a trick to me.
Yesterday, I finished reading the book Come As You Are, a recently published Nirvana band biography, and came across this passage. Quote, Don Cobain, Kurt's father, had begun to develop a pretty serious record collection after someone talked him into joining the Columbia House Record and Tape Club. Every month, records by bands like Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and Kiss would come in the mail. Don never got around to opening them, but after a few months, Kurt did. I remember that I bought a vinyl copy of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on my dad's Columbia House membership tab when I was 12. For the music industry, alternative is a completely unproven genre. Very few alternative bands have had Nirvana's mass-market crossover success. It's just not clear yet how big the alternative audience really is. So the risks involved in selling alternative music are antithetical to the way this business is structured. The club is most successful at mass marketing, not the kind of niche marketing that a genuine alternative music club would require. Once Marie and I understand this, we tell Rick that a new alternative club can't work. Despite our vocal protests, the project is moving forward. Deadlines have been set for the first issue to mail. Rick tells us that he trusts us and will leave us alone to do whatever we want. So instead of seeing this magazine relaunch as an obligation, Marie and I view it as a creative opportunity. Our only goal is to see what we can get away with. First, we compile a core team of designers and writers from 17 to collaborate on this project. There's Alicia.
But, you know, he's all, I don't know. You guys know the difference between Steve Green and Steve Wonder.
Sasha.
Do you have like an agenda and shit?
Pat. Dimitri. Linda.
And she jumped on him and they started like making out on top of the desk in her office.
Drew.
I don't get these kids.
And this is when her boyfriend at the time was dead.
Right. She had just found out that he died.
Yeah, sometimes you can have fun.
This is a copy of the club's current alternative magazine. The only difference between it and other versions of the club catalog is the graphic design of the word music on the cover and the inclusion of a few extra pages of alternative titles. Otherwise, it's indistinguishable from the rest of the club catalogs.
These publications in your mail. If it's in entertainment, it's in the house. His ass.
Cool, very nice. Thank you.
Interesting.
We all agree on the things about the company that we don't like. So we begin the task of changing the magazine and how we work together. We do away with any distinctions between the 19th and 17th floors. Graphic designers will write copy, copywriters can make design suggestions, and marketing people can write headlines. Columbia House uses pseudonyms in all of the correspondence that mails to members. The image of a collection manager named John Savant writing to demand payment seems a little extreme. Not only do Marie and I put our real names in the new magazine, we put our pictures in as well.
Alright, that's you're making terrible faces.
Columbia House doesn't reveal shipping and handling costs in the magazine. We put shipping and handling up front. Wherever possible, we divulge club sales tactics.
El Pigeon is good. El Pigeon is good.
Our most drastic innovation is to feature music from the club archives that we like and recommend, instead of just arbitrarily promoting new releases. In this new format, Mississippi John Hurt will appear in the same feature as the Pixies, Jonathan Richman, and Rick James.
And have had over the years. So it would be like a 3-point paragraph. 3 sentences, literally.
Eric Satie will appear on the same page as Big Star, Miles Davis, Bootsy Collins, and George Jones. We sneak in criticism. We come up with interesting feature ideas for music we don't even like. We write Yiddish promotional copy. We put anything into the magazine we feel like.
Linda, I tour, I get a lot done. Sometimes, you know, I don't know, man, the fucking record company.
While we may look like we're wasting time, there's actually an incredible amount of work being done.
Sincerely, yours, Mandingo. Just feel this. I basically have written a book.
We make sure that the writing is thoughtful and useful, instead of just promotional.
Well, we might. We might. I don't know exactly how we'll work that.
Yeah.
We hold marathon meetings where we plan entire magazines in one afternoon, saving weeks of phone calls and memos.
He's sensitive to things like certain parts of T-shirts being overlapped and stuff.
Yeah.
The only time we're censored outright is when we change a feature called More Music Now to More Music Now with politically appropriate bands.
Once again, Nirvana singer Kurt Cobain, hospitalized in a coma in Rome, Italy, has emerged from that coma. Repeat, has emerged from that coma. We'll have more on this story as it develops on MTV News.
We've basically created a new business within the existing business, a magazine that comments on and criticizes all of the traditional record club practices. At the same time, we've managed to completely reorganize the way the departments work together.
Did you shoot that off the video? That's very good.
Relative to how this company has worked for the past 30 years, these are significant changes.
Happy birthday, dear Dimitri.
How many people are there?
Reach for the medicine chest.
Very sexist. Only the men sign this one.
Happy birthday, dear Myrie. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
All right.
However, the social aspect of this insular group is having a strange effect on our fellow employees.
Now you 20-something say something, don't even go there, let's not even go there. But, and I don't want to go there, but you did make me feel old. I never felt old before, because I always thought, like I was a teenager before you were born, you know.
And while Rick has defended us, some people in management have expressed a sense of distrust. They're convinced that we don't really know what we're doing. So at a great expense, an outside ad agency is brought in to, quote, help support our efforts.
I'll teach you a little move that I learned in yoga, which is whenever you're really hot, so like clench your teeth together and then breathe in through your teeth and then out through your nose. It's a cooling breath.
At first, we meet with them willingly. We think they'll legitimize what we're doing. We tell them exactly how we've changed the magazine.
So we're here to...
When we finally see their presentation to management, it looks a lot like what we'd already come up with.
Credibility is everything here. These are, we always talk about a target's bullshit meter and how sensitive it is. This is a target that arrives in the room screaming bullshit, and then, you know, they're basically shooting and then asking questions later. So for credibility, we realize that we're not going to be able to eliminate this. You know, we're not going to be able to move this quickly. We can't come out and say, Columbia House was this and it's now this. What we had to do was create a this within this. And the coolness of this, assuming we accomplish coolness, will accrue to this over time. Very much like what Beavis and Butthead did for MTV. You know, by the fact that Beavis and Butthead existed, MTV acquired another level of coolness.
This shouldn't have been a shock, but it was.
You have all this. But to make people in this target want to get this kind of stuff from you, it's almost to us like you've got to say, this is no longer the way you thought it was. Something unbelievably dramatic has happened to change the way this company is. It's almost like you've got to believe that there's sort of corporate deviance sort of disrupting the corporation.
What happens when there's a really new alternative music division in Columbia House? When basically they open up their doors to alternative people and say, we don't get it, you got to do it. And what's the tension that creates?
They even use some of our exact language in the presentation.
The self-deprecation, the self-referential irony does make Columbia House more cool.
Watching our work described in this way is difficult, and the prospect of losing our self-sufficiency is demoralizing.
So when you lose battles, that's funny, and when you win battles, that's funny, but it's talking about the battles. It's talking about the tension.
Nobody takes the news well.
Each day I come in and my creative spirit is trampled underfoot till it becomes nothing but dust.
Yes, C. Wilcha, this is Al Kuznets. Please call me or come down. You will find me standing in my office with a .38 caliber pistol pointed at my right temple, and I will either be pleading with someone to pull the trigger for me, or I will be in the process of pulling the trigger. Thank you.
But before the agency can take credit for the new magazine, our first issue had already mailed. Rick calls us into his office. The response has been overwhelming. Letters are pouring in to Terre Haute.
Somebody, look at this word. Look at this.
Oh my God, that's scary.
Our magazine. Oh, you can't believe this. Look at this. Chris and Marie, I'm right in the middle of finals, and usually I just heap the whole envelope in the package after looking to see what the selection of the month is, so I can make sure I want to check the send nothing at this time box. However, in bold, purple is my favorite color, and Elvis C is the coolest. So I pushed my bio books off the chair, kicked back, and got a great hoot out of your latest magazine. Way to go. I had paid my requisite dues so that I could ditch your lame tactics, but I am back with renewed vigor. Give yourselves a raise and have a beer on me.
What's that one?
This is a list of the next 50 cassettes I plan to buy in order. I have placed stars next to the tapes featured in your last 3 catalogs.
Some of them are just like letters to Santa Claus, aren't they?
Cannibal Corpse, Carcass, Entombed Metallica.
The best thing about all of this is not simply that these people have responded, but it's the way in which they responded. Now, I read a lot of mail. Very few people who write into us write in with a sense of their own personality, okay? They may have a complaint, they may have a suggestion, but they try to write business correspondence even if it's not in a business fashion, because they're not business people. Some of them write in pencil, but they're trying to write business correspondence. What these people have done that is so significant is that they have taken their own personality and written to us in that way. Why? Because they sense that we have one. That is my hypothesis. And for better or for worse, we've been able to communicate with them in such a way that we generate a response as if we're real people. Maybe we're people that need to be told a thing or two, but we're real people here, and we've never been able to do that.
Well, this one was more death metal, though. Like,
where's that one, Rick, from that girl that wrote on the really nice card?
I felt this initial sense of elation when the letters arrived. We provided the company with a shortcut into the wallets of a notoriously skeptical demographic group. It occurs to me now that this was a somewhat dubious achievement, or maybe those consumers weren't so savvy at all. I thought that by infusing the magazine with the spirit of punk rock, even if it didn't include any of the actual music, was somehow a subversive act. But after hearing Rick read the 9th or 10th effusive letter, what we succeeded at was clear. We not only convinced the kids that consuming was cool, we made it seem like an act of defiance. But at work, there's no time to reflect. Some new crisis always demands your energy and attention.
She called me back just now. She says, because the first wire didn't say that if it was him or not.
Nirvana pioneered grunge rock and is known for the multi-million-dollar selling album Nevermind.
She says, I just got a second wire. They think it was him.
With a shotgun wound to the head, suicide note reportedly found near the body. He was 28 years old.
Son had been missing. Mrs. Cobain says her son had been missing for 6 days, and she feared he would be found dead. He was
During March, he was admitted to a Rome hospital in an alcohol and drug-induced coma.
No, it's not a joke. It's definitely not a joke.
Out of the Board of Ed, Schools Chapter.
Says that Ed Rosenblatt, president of Geffen Records, just called MCA to inform them that it's official. It is Cobain. He is dead.
So everyone's sort of wondering whether we should desperately try to change this to somehow acknowledge, the fact that Kurt Cobain's dead, which is kind of hard because, of course, here at Columbia House we don't mention death. In reading it, it's fine, but we do mention Kurt, and we just say yada yada Kurt Cobain, and it could easily be fixed if you said the late great Kurt Cobain. Do you know what I mean? Like we could tweak the copy to at least acknowledge his death if we wanted to, which would cost about, I don't know, $1,000.
Okay.
And if we wanted to do a whole memoriam thing, that's something that we could just think about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Separate and distinct from
Although by the time we could
cash in on it.
Yeah. Well, if we tell them today for $1,000, they can stick in the feature the late Kurt Cobain or something like that. No memorial, no snipe, no tribute, no nothing. Just
I'll do that.
Whoosh. Okay. Okay, then that's legitimate.
Yeah.
Now
Can they do that without screwing everything else up?
Chris, Rick. Okay, here's a Nirvana copy, all right? See what you think of this. The tragic, and I've gone with death here, taking a big risk. The tragic death of Kurt Cobain brought home to many people that this is a band whose music really hits you where you live. Okay? Let me know if that's okay.
I stopped taping for a long time. I don't pick up the camera again until there's a solar eclipse and the entire building seems to descend onto the street. The alternative magazine continues, but not without some changes. Despite our proven formula, we back off of the criticism in the running commentary. I've stopped caring what or how things are being sold. Things return to just being for sale.
Can I speak? You're done.
We had a great year. Oh my God. In fact, Phil was not complaining today, but sales are so high that we don't believe them. Really? They should stay this way.
That means you believe platinum.
Right?
You believe platinum now. Champagne all around.
That's right.
Just before he retires, I asked Charles Keating, the chairman of Columbia House, for an interview. There's a gravity to his presence that defies description. It's both intimidating and belittling, but also totally mundane. Sitting across from him, it's clear that news of the past few months of struggle and triumph in alternative marketing have not reached this office. After 40 years of presiding over this billion-dollar business, only the most significant events are worthy of his attention. Conflicts between the 19th and 17th floors, hirings and firings, new alternative magazines, the suicides of reluctant rock stars, the fate of heavy metal, the punk rock identity crises of recent college graduates could not possibly matter in this place, because this place is oblivious to such vulgarity, and this place is eternal.
The Columbia Record Club.
What is this for again?
I'm not bugging you.
Project?
Okay.
Slowly, the group starts to change. Drew leaves to go to graduate school.
Is that on right?
Yeah.
Linda moves to France.
I have to get my sugar.
You
I
usually
usually have it every morning, but this
Dimitri gets a job working for MTV. Marie takes a job for more money with the rival record club BMG.
I thought you were going to be a smart kid who was going to help out and learn a lot. I had no idea that you were going to wind up doing an alternative magazine that speaks to your generation. Because when I hired you, your generation was buying as many Van Halen records as they were Pearl Jam. You know, it's all changed. God forbid they start liking Bon Jovi again, and we're going to have to get rid of you.
Before he can get rid of me, I've decided to quit. Rick is disappointed about my decision, but not surprised. I give my 2 weeks' notice, have an exit interview, and pack up my things.
Me? No.
In the rush to leave, I have to fill out tons of paperwork, just like when I was hired.
You have your choice, by the way. You resigned, deceased, dismissed, I assume resigned is what you'd like me to put there. It's terminated, eligible for rehire. Yes, no, not recommended. What do you think?
What? Now this is the person who's going to replace
The person
me?
who's going to replace you, I have to put a similar information over here. Name of employee being replaced, salary of employee being replaced. You know.
God, the corpse isn't even cold.
I know.
I don't really pay attention to what I'm signing, including the photo release form that says the club can use my image in perpetuity with no further compensation. I don't figure out what that form means until I get a Columbia House mailing with my face on it. I've left the company in body, but my image lingers, selling CDs all on its own.